I would want to pose one question even before I do my presentation. COVID-19 came in 2020. That was March, if I'm right, yeah? The very old person in your village, leave alone where we stay, in the estates here, back in your village, the very old person who could even be illiterate, the very young person who can comprehend, they all know about COVID-19. True or false? Why? Don't answer me. You know the reason. Along the way, we will know why we are able to tell what COVID-19 is, the do's and don'ts. See, as we are seated here, the way we are seated here, we are still not sure of CBC. We are still not sure where our children are going. We are still not sure of the number of learning areas they are supposed to cover, and so many other things. Is that true? True or false? Where is the problem? CBC came before COVID-19. COVID-19 kila mtu anaijua. CBC hatujui hata tumeketi hapo. The simple answer is, it is all about sensitization. It is all about advocacy. I think that is what is lacking. Another reason, number 2, it is about the attitude. We still have negative attitude towards CBC, and especially us. Yeah, I'm saying us because I'm also part of you. Us who at least are not as those in the village when they ata hawakusoma, our grandfathers and all that. Yet they embraced the what? The curriculum that was there then. See, we still have negative attitude. We are still listening to other people. This information is in the public domain. From where you sit, I can see we are all smart as far as ICT is concerned. You can go very fast to any portal, NEC portal, Ministry of Education portal, KICD portal, all the information is there. Yet we still have so many questions. As we are speaking, the Ministry of Education was sued as far as CBC is concerned. The case is still there. We are waiting. Why are we having all this? It is because of the sensitization. We are not aware, we don't know where we are going, and like our CS said sometimes back, the train left the station. The train left the station. We all know what a train is. Once a train leaves, it doesn't have a reverse gear. Si ni ukweli? Haitarudi nyuma kuturudia. So, what are we supposed to do? You either run and catch the train, or you are left forever and ever. As far as the change of administration, our government is concerned, I am not a politician, and I don't want to speak whether the curriculum will be changed or not. But the question I would want you to ask yourself as you're seated there, our learners are in grade 6, even if we have another government, where will these grade 6 learners go? Will we take them now to class 1 to start the 844, or what will happen? The most likely thing that will happen, and we look at that as we look at the reasons why the curriculum was changed, are the curriculum reviews, which have been there. A review and a change are two different things. Along the way, when you see this one is not working, you change, you bring something else. But we cannot change the curriculum overhaul. If it has to be changed, it is a process. Lazima itarudi kwa bunge, lazima. So many of them. So where will our learners go? Will we take them up to grade 1 again at their age? So those are the small questions I would want us to ask, even as we look at the presentation. I'm aware this is grade 4, 5, and 6 parents. Yes. So my question number 1, do you think the curriculum ought to have been changed from where you sit? Unijibu, I like doing my presentation as you engage. Hakuna haja niwasomee what I have, yet mkienda mtasahau, si ndio? From where you sit, or from what you know, do you think there was need to change the curriculum?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Of course, wengine watakuwa no na yes, si ndio? Good. Question number 2. What informed the curriculum change? What made this curriculum to change? Maybe a few parents or a few of us, we've agreed there was need to change the curriculum. See you? Yes. Do we know the reasons why the curriculum had to change? Question number 2. The last question, because you'll answer me before we look at the reasons. The last question. When was the last time the curriculum was changed in Kenya? 19? I can hear 88, 87. 85, that is true. 1985 up to date. How many years are those? 37. Almost going to 40 years. 40 years down the line. Do you think what was there then is what is here now? So that justifies the reason why we had to change the curriculum. We are in the 21st century. Our learners, the way you have them, because you are parents, you are the first teacher of your learners. Sindio? The things they know at their age. Wewe ulijua zingine ukiwa university. Ama kama umemaliza form 4. Ni ukweli? What if we are stuck to the same curriculum? Are we fair to our learners? 21st century, and we have to move with the rest of the world. We also belong to chamas here. Si ni ukweli? And some chamas, very serious chamas, where you lend loans, where you buy properties, where you do. What happens if you don't limit your money for 1 month, for 2 months? What happens? It could be a penalty. Nikienda a whole year, itakuwa penalty. What will happen? Unachujwa, si ndio? Kuna wale wako very strict. Unapewa maybe 1 month. Second month, if you are not able, unachujwa. So I want us to look at our Kenya like that. Kenya is party to international communities. Kenya is party to East African communities and all that. And if you are a party to other nations, if you don't go by what they are, what do? Unatolewa. Si ndio? You cannot be in an island as a country, and therefore you have to move with the rest of the country. So the point I'm bringing home here is the first question. Do you think there was need to change the curriculum? The answer is yes. You've already told me it is yes. So what informed curriculum changes? And that is what I want us, first of all, to look at before we condemn this curriculum. Yeah? I'm not saying there should be no gaps. Gaps are there. There will be gaps everywhere. But before we condemn this curriculum, let us first of all understand the reasons why we had to change the curriculum. So these reasons are global reasons, they are regional reasons, and they are also local reasons that informed the reasons for the change of the curriculum. That's what I would want us to start with before we look at the other things. And like we have said, look at that. Tutaenda pole pole so that we understand, and so that tomorrow when you go to your place of worship, uombe nafasi, usensitize the congregation. Sasa utakuwa armed. Si ndio? Ukienda in your district ama fellowship ama Catholic mnaita aje? Jumuiya. Si ndio? Unasimama unawaambia, let me tell you about CBC, because that is why we are here, like the way we knew about COVID-19. So we are saying, since independence in 1963, we had that curriculum, the 7-4-2-3 system. Sijui kama kuna mtu alikuwa kwa hiyo. Those we are there. So the first curriculum reform was in 1985, like we have seen, sindio? And you have counted the number of years down the line. This curriculum was as a result of presidential working team. I'll not go up to that, yeah? Then the country adopted the 844. I believe most of us belong to that one, with the guiding philosophy of education for self-reliance. Did that make it? Did we make it? Self-reliance. Somehow, along the way, it was diluted, but that was the intention. It is not about kusoma niajiliwe, si ndio? It is about kusoma nipate skills that can help me survive, isn't it? And people who are here, yeah, those of us who are employed, we know how much peanut the government pays, yeah? Wale wako nje doing their own things. Even if we go to work for 10 years, hatutawafikia in 1 year. Si ni ukweli? Yes. So that was the intention, self-reliance. Along the way, the rain started beating us. That was not achieved. Then, there are reviews. And if you look at the word, it is in bold. Review means, sio kuchange, not overhaul, change. Along the way, there were things that changed. If you remember right, those were there then. 844, we started with it started with, were there 7 subjects? I think it was 7 subjects, sindio? Then along the way zikakuja gapi? 5. Why 5? Because of the reviews. Are we there? This one is not working. This one should not be there. Home science was removed. Business education was removed. You remember? Those are the reviews we are talking about. Not a whole overhaul change of the curriculum. So we are not saying in 1982, 1995, and 2002, there were only reviews which were adopted. So, some of the reasons. The task force refers for the realignment of the education sector, Vision 2030. We are all conversant with Vision 2030, a roadmap. That is where we want to be in 2030. I know we have professionals here who are lawyers here and the like. So, they recommended a competence-based curriculum. That was the first recommendation for us to reach to the dictates. The dictates of Vision 2030. The curriculum had to be changed. Some of the dictates of Vision 2030, we want to be an industrialized country. Sindio? Industrialized country means what? We must get the skills. Kama hatuna skills, we will not reach there. That is why you are seeing even the roads, a very simple road, 2 kilometers, lazima tutaita Chinese. Sini ukweli? Yes, we will not reach there until we had to change the what? The curriculum. Then, the flexibility of the curriculum at the senior secondary school. Allow me to talk about that when we come to assessment in CBA, in CBC. Then there should be a national learning assessment system, an introduction of values and national cohesion. I want to talk about the last bit. Introduction of values and national cohesion. Now, if you listen to news every day, it is about killing, it is about rape, it is about very bad things, isn't it? What do you think it is? There is something that is missing in the community. What do you think is missing? The values. Sindio? Values such as love, values such as integrity. And CBC is very much on this, the issue of values. If you look at the progress records, progress reports the school gives, because I've interacted with their booklet, they assess learners as far as acquisition of values is concerned. CBC is more about values, and I think that is where we lost it as a country. The Constitution of Kenya, though I'll come to that, it has a lot of values in it, because that is what is bringing all what we are seeing, the negative things we are seeing in the country. No values, and therefore the task force recommended a curriculum that will teach what? Values, yeah? The Constitution of Kenya, remember we are looking at the reasons why the curriculum had to change. Which are the reasons that informed the change of curriculum? Number 1, we have the Constitution of Kenya. We will not be able to look at all that. I will share the slides. Madam can share you. I know you have your emails, so that you can go in your own way. Usome vile Constitution says, indio? And lawyers who are here, if we have them, kindly you can help us. The Constitution of Kenya, Article 52, 53, that there is the need for education for every learner. No learner should be left out. Every child has a right to free and compulsory basic education. When I talk about basic education starts from PP1 all the way up to grade 12. That is what basic education is all about. So the Constitution requires that learners should be given a free and compulsory. Compulsory means what? Hakuna mtu ata drop out along the way. And that is why, if you are keen, our CS yesterday was in Kiambu County, mopping up those who have finished class 8. Wote hata sisi tumeambiwa hakuna kukaa kwa ofisi. You go to the villages and look for those learners who have not reported to school, because it is compulsory. For the parents or guardians who will not comply to this, do you know what happens to them? At least you are lucky in your private, because in public that is where we are. What happens to these parents or guardians? They be arrested. The chiefs are also not resting, yeah, because it is a dictate of the Constitution. Are we there? Another reason, another dictate from the Constitution the national values and principles of governance. The Constitution talks about values. I have already mentioned the values here. Love, integrity, and all that. They are all in the Constitution, which was lacking in the other one. Are we there? And remember, everything that is done in a nation, it is dictated by the Constitution. Sindio? Therefore, our education, outgoing curriculum, the 844, all this lacked. And because it is a dictate of the Constitution, we had to change the what? The curriculum to be in line with the requirement of the Constitution. I hope I'm communicating. Then we have chapter 6 that talks about leadership and integrity. As you are seated here, because I know you've been invited for different interviews. You've applied for jobs and all that. The first thing you must be conversant with chapter 6 of the Constitution. It talks about what? Leadership and integrity. I usually say, from where I sit, and don't quote me, if there are people who need this, are our leaders as at now. See, tunaona how they are doing it. Tunaona how they are doing it. Sindio? So, they badly need this. Leadership and integrity and the values. Then the same Constitution requires the promotion of Kiswahili. It was not there in the previous curriculum. It was not there in the previous Constitution because the only official language was English. Sindio? Now it is both English and Kiswahili. Then we have the emphasis on teaching of KSL, means Kenya Sign Language, and the Braille. So we all know the Braille. For learners who are visually impaired, I'm blind. Sindio? The sign language. You'll bear me witness every station, yeah, television station, even in our churches there, hapa hatuna, you will have to see a person who is interpreting. Was that there before? It is a dictate of the what? The Constitution. So even in our schools, even in our curriculum, this one is well catered for. That learners who are deaf, learners who are blind will not be left behind. What will happen to the curriculum? The same curriculum that your learners are subjected to here, it is adapted to suit them. Remember, these learners, despite the fact that they are blind, despite the fact that they are deaf, their IQ is very intact. Si tunajua hiyo? So the same curriculum will be adapted to suit them. Their books will be in Braille. Lakini the same curriculum ile watoto wenu wanafanya. For the sign language, the same will be adapted. For those who are very severe, because they are those who are special but severe, they cannot benefit from the curriculum. Tutaona what will happen to them. I hope I'm communicating, yeah? So those are the dictates of the Constitution that we are not there, and therefore we had to change the curriculum to be in line with the what? The Constitution. Another one, development and promotion of indigenous languages. Indigenous languages. I know the way we are seated here, the faces of Kenya is well represented. Grade 3, is it grade 3? You are doing the cultural whatever. Muko hapa wazazi? Yes. What were you told? Ufunze mtoto wako nini? Na wewe mwenyewe hata hujui your indigenous language. Was it a challenge? Wengine walipeleka mpaka kwa shosho huko. But hata mwenye unapelekea shosho, they cannot communicate with the grandmother. Sivyo? Yeah. We want to promote our indigenous language. The way we are seated here, if your child speaks in your native language, your mother tongue, unakaa mshamba. Si ni ukweli? Na ni sisi hatutaki watoto wetu waongee nini? Hiyo Kalenjin, Kiluya, whatever. Because we want to look like we are civilized. Now, the Constitution requires promotion of indigenous language. And that is why the Kenya National Examination Council brought that to grade 3. Muafunze, the folk songs, the dances, the artifact. I don't know whether you invited the parents here. Yes, to see the displays and all that. And the learners were very happy, for sure. Learners were very happy. Wale wako na watoto, I don't know. And you know, this is the age, they will not give you rest until, mom nifunze na hiyo. Nifunze, wangu ni wa grade 6. And we had to. Na hata matamushi, God forbid. Lakini, along the way, if we start them at the very low level, they'll be able to. Sindio? This indigenous language in the curriculum, the way it is put, learners will be learning indigenous languages in these schools. And the language they will learn, it will not be necessarily the language of the catchment area. What does that mean? If, for example, I don't want to take this because this is metro. Sindio? Twende huko mashinani, Luolad, kwa Kinapam. If there is a teacher there, because the curriculum, the designs are there, a teacher who can teach Kikuyu in Luolad, we want to see Kikuyu taught in Luolad. Come to Central. Anybody who will be able to teach Kalenjin in Central, we want it taught in. Are we there? Yes. Not the catchment area. Why are we doing all this? Promoting indigenous language. Number 2, appreciating diverse cultures. Are we there? Goge wa Thiongo, we all know him. Is he a millionaire or a billionaire? Hello? Is he a millionaire or a billionaire? He's a billionaire. Where does he teach or lecture? Not even in Kenya. Ako huko maju. Sindio? Because of the indigenous language. Sio Germany, sio French, sio English that can make you prosper. Are we there? Promotion of that. Then emphasis on communication formats and technology accessible to persons with disability. I think I've talked much about that when I was talking at the Kenya Sign Language and the Braille, that learners with special needs are not left behind. Another reason why the curriculum had to change. Remember, we are looking at the reasons that informed the change of curriculum. Kwa hivyo tumeona there was mismatch as far as the Constitution of Kenya requirements is concerned. We were not in line with the Constitution requirements. Another reason why it had to change, we have the Kenya Vision 2030. What are the dictates as far as education is concerned? Vision 2030, there is integration of early childhood into primary school. For the first time in the history of Kenya, since independence, or even before independence, for the first time, the preschool education has been integrated in the curriculum. Tumesikia? For the first time in Kenya. Kitambo, what was there? Learners in preschool, our nursery, they were subjected to very many curriculum. Montessori, zingine ni gani?
Montessori, there's KHA, there's kindergarten,
Hizo zote. So, schools could teach what they want. But now, when this learner now transit to the primary school, wakiletwa hapa, wakiletwa public school, wakiletwa other school, there was a mismatch. Walisoma Montessori, wanapata another curriculum. So, mismatch, utoto wanaanza kupotelea hapo. Are we there? So, for the first time, this has been brought on board. PP1, PP2, they have a uniform curriculum. Remember, the Constitution requires what? Equity. I don't know that it is equity or equality. Equity, fair treatment, justice and all that. So if some learners are being subjected to Montessori, sio watu wote wata afford Montessori, si ndio? Others are being subjected to this. Can we say there is equity there? No. So we have a standardized curriculum for all learners in the preschool. Another dictate of the Vision 2030, reforming secondary curricula. Curricula means all of it. Reforming. Yeah? We want to change the secondary curricula. As we are speaking here, recently, the KCSE results were released. Sindio? How many E's did we have? If you get that child, the E child, does it mean this child knows nothing? Ako 0, 0, 0. Does it mean they know nothing? No. They could be very good in other things. It is only that the exam that was given did not favor the child. But if he was taught, for example, to write what you know in physics, there is something he can write. If he's taught to write something that he know in composition, angeandika mzuri kushida what was given. Are we there? So we are saying that is why CBC had to come. It is not about knowledge, what you can duplicate. Wengine ni kama photocopy. Anaweza soma the whole textbook na aseme the way it is. Sindio? So we are changing the secondary curriculum. We'll come to that when we come to the CBA. We see how the subject will be. Another one, modernizing teacher training. Modernizing teacher training. As we are speaking, we no longer have a certificate in primary teacher education. Hakuna certificate. They'll be starting at diploma level. And if it is diploma level, what does that mean? Even the entry grade is high. I want to speak from my own sub-county here in Kiambu. The current cohort that is there in teacher training colleges, the minimum requirement is a C+, where you're supposed to have a C+ in English, the same grade in mathematics, in sciences, and the like. In my own sub-county, I didn't get any who qualified for that. Yet, watoto wananiletea certificate wako na B-. When we come to cluster, huyu mtoto wako na B- alipata D in ama D+ in mathematics. Will he qualify? Anachujiwa hapo, si ndio? Hai, amepata hizo zingine. Twende kwa arts, any of the arts, history, whatever. Unapata moja CRE alipata A, history alipata a C. You also don't qualify. So the point I'm bringing in here is that even the teacher education, we are now taking very high grades. Reason being, the CBC curriculum is very broad. The CBC curriculum, I said we're in 21st century, see you? And things are moving. Another dictate of the Vision 2030 is developing program for learners with special needs. You can see learners with special needs. The Constitution requires that. The Vision 2030 requires that. And therefore, we had to change the curriculum to accommodate learners with special needs. Then we also have another reason, the evolution of the 844 system, which we all know. It is about academic. Sini cognitive peke yake. Mtoto atasema. When it comes to doing, they cannot do. Sindio? The 844 is only emphasizes on summative evaluation. Summative evaluation is the evaluation that is at the end of the course. At primary school, we have KCPE. Sindio? That is the summative evaluation. Together at secondary school, we have the KCSE. So the 844 is only interested in summative evaluation. When we come to CBC, and we'll be able to see that, it is not about the end of the course that is important. It is not about KCPE. It is not about KCSE. It is about formative evaluation. Formative evaluation means what? Evaluating a learner every now and then. Every now and then. When we come to CPA, we'll see what NEC is doing. NEC is not interested in what will be done, like what the grade 6 are waiting for. In November, they will sit for a national assessment, which will only account for 40%. So the biggest percentage is the formative assessment. Ile ya shule. Are we there? 844 was only summative. End of that. Can you see the reason why we had to change? To accommodate that, yeah? Alafu, 844 did not provide flexible pathways. Pathways ni kusema aje. Specialization. Huyo mtoto by the time anafika grade 10, 11 and 12. Kama huyo mtoto ni wa STEM. STEM means what? Science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Atasoma hiyo peke yako. Hakuna art, hakuna geography, hakuna history and the like. Are we there? Huyo akikuwa identified, yeye ni wa arts. Mambo ya STEM kando, hiyo sio yake, si ndio? As you are seated there, ebu apia mwenzako, ni nini ulisoma high school mpaka wa leo unajiulizanga? Apia your neighbor there. Kuna kitu ulisoma na hujui mpaka wa leo? Kunayo ulisoma? Nikipindi tafadhali, answer me. Kuna kitu ulisoma mpaka wa leo hujui ni nini? Mimi nilisoma moles. Wale wako hapa kama tuko na walimu wa hesabu. Mimi moles sijaijua. I don't know probability. Vitu zingine. So, The new curriculum doesn't require that because you'll be wasting somebody somewhere. Si ndio? Kama wewe ni wa art, una remain nini? Art. Mambo ya malls, mambo ya nini, achia wenye wako wanaziweza. Si ndio kweli? And that is why now, if you look at the scenario I've given you, Alana has a B-. That's a very bright learner. Si ndio kweli? But if you look at the clusters, pengine mathematics may knock down or art may knock down. What if this learner was only taken to what he's able to do best? Si atakuwa perfect. Yes. So we want to move from there. Another one, skill gaps identified. What gaps? Gaps like agriculture, entrepreneurial, vocational, technical skill, innovation, creativity, ICT, etc., etc. The way we are here, our generation, because naona tuko kwa same age bracket. Tulikataa kufanya agriculture in high school. True or false? Because unaiona tu ni shamba. Sivyo? And those are the attitudes we want to change. Those skill gaps, as we are speaking now, we are talking of the big, the presidential whatever. Are they 4 or 5? They are 4. Sindio? Moja ni, there is housing, there is food security. Sindio? If food security itatoka wapi if we don't have this agriculture? You don't need to be a farmer for you to succeed. You don't need a shamba for you to have something to eat. They have done it perfectly with the learners, using gunias and all that. Sindio? Are we there? So, we have skill gaps, entrepreneur. I want to give a scenario, a very simple one. We all know the Anaitwa Kamau Wanjiru, this guy who was a marathon whatever, and many others who have even been killed because of their property. Si ni ukweli? Hawana any information about financial literacy. They have a lot of money. They are being swindled every now and then because of lack of that. There is that gap. Entrepreneur and the like and the like. That is what now we want to bring back to our learners. And as I sit here, you realize that our learners have been exposed to so many learning areas. Tunajua learning areas ni nini? Tuna shift from subject. Wacha tu nitumie subject. Sio tushike. Lakini, you know, we have to move with time, si ndio? Yeah. Subjects are now learning areas, si ndio? Wako wanafanya how many? Wacha tuanze. Grade 1, 2, 3. Wala wako 6. Walifanya how many? Haya. Those are the gaps. Nikikuuliza COVID-19 mtu anafanya, I'll get all the answers. So, Madam Pamela, 1, 2, 3, 9. 9. 4, 5, 6, usiwaambie. 12, 11. Imagine, usiketi, taka kujua wanafanya gapi, si ndio? Na ukitaka kujua wanafanya gapi, usilalamike, because parents are like, you are giving our learners so many learning areas, subject and all that. When they get to junior secondary school next year, they'll be doing 14. I expected that. I expected that. Do you know the reason why? We are exposing the learners to a very broad curriculum. Very broad, but very shallow. Wengine mpaka wamekuja kwa ofisi wanasema, walimu wanafunza kakitu kanatoshana hivi. It is by design. Si ati ni walimu. That is what is required. It is not about the depth at this level. It is about exposing them. Ndio mtoto ajijue, mzazi ajue mtoto wangu out of all this ni gani ata perfect. Wakienda senior secondary school, that is where now they will specialize. Si nimesema hivyo? And that is where now the depth will come in. Ile yote wanatakiwa. Kama ni hesabu yote ya hii dunia anapewa. As at now, it is about the broad curriculum. Tumeshika? That is why they will be subjected to so many learning areas, so that they can even make rational decisions. Are we there? I hope I've communicated. So we are saying the summative evaluation in 844, which we want to move out from. We said that Kenya cannot function on its own. It is a member of other nations. Sindio? Na tukasema, if you are a member and you don't behave, what happens? nachunjwa, unakaa on your own. Do you think you can be on your own, even as a person? Huwezi, si ndio? That is where we are. Therefore, the East African states drew, they have a framework that will harmonize curriculum, the structure and the examination in all the East African community. What does that mean? That my certificate in Kenya, the certificate I'll be given in Kenya, this learner, when I go to Uganda, when I go to any other country, they will honor and I can secure a job there. Are we there? When I go to America or any other state, they will be able to respect my certificate because it is talking like any other nation. As you are seated here, what happens? When you go to the certificate you have right now to America, what will happen? Tunasikianga. What will happen? Can they honor that certificate? You'll have to go back to school or you have to be subjected to different courses for you to fit in that nation. Are we there? So what we have, East African community, they have a framework, a structure, examination, that once you get that certificate, you can fit in all those nations. You can be able to, you can be employed and you can fit in the nation. That is what I'm saying.